Fellow Grenadians, I address you today as the acting political leader of the National Democratic Congress, your patriotic and conscientious guardian of our heritage, our values, our culture, and our aspirations for a better Grenada to be enjoyed by everyone. Our society, our institutions, and our people are currently undergoing a challenging period characterized by high levels of stress and fatigue. This is reflected in the prevalence of a high degree of fear, increasing poverty, joblessness, increasing discourtesy on our roads, inability to solve conflicts, the lack of equity, the breaking of laws, declining productivity within the government, the lack of concern for the well-being of others, and a tendency to do whatever they want by many. While the current pandemic is a contributor to this state of malaise, even a brief analysis clearly points to the sorry state of the NMP's governance and leadership in our country. The NMP's consistent focus primarily on winning elections by any means possible, such as the buying of votes and the relaxation of principles, rules, and laws, has significantly contributed to the high level of stress among Grenada's population. The persistent lack of inclusion over the years has isolated many Grenadians who are now fed up. Under the NNP, Grenada is managed for the tremendous benefit of only a few. In the Prime Minister's address recently, he acknowledges the recklessness and lawlessness in our society. Now, his back is against the wall, and an election is approaching. He wants to fool the people again. Why is it that for the first time he is now promising to respect the ruling of the courts in reference to the pension for public servants? Why is it that he now wants to pay the teachers and public servants when he is claiming a bad financial situation? Brothers and sisters, these are issues that you must pay attention to. The NMP's lack of caring and the Prime Minister's dictatorial behavior, doing and saying what he wants with the country's resources, continue to hurt all Grenadians. A major case in point is the recent vindictive fight with the former Grenlec part owners, where our taxpayers had to fork out approximately $200 million for shares and legal fees, double what we should have paid, all because of the evil and spite of the NMP leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the recklessness of the Prime Minister, we are suffering from NMP's mismanagement of the country's resources, which has aggravated the many burdens on our population. The obvious breakdown in law and order today is the direct result of the government's double standard and preferential treatment, giving permission to its friends and close associates to enjoy life while enforcing heavy manners on everyone else. Despite all of this, the Prime Minister, in his usual fashion, has called on the population to further sacrifice and do the right thing, while he continuously breaks the rules and laws established to control the pandemic spread. He has continuously broken the laws and on many occasions refused to obey court orders. In fact, he has even challenged many court orders in public outbursts. He has refused to pay many families and individuals who are struggling to pay the monthly bills. He says the right thing conveniently and does the opposite. He is no longer trusted. That's why most Grenadians no longer listen to him. Many turn their TVs and radios off when he is speaking. The success achieved by the people with only the stated 169 COVID cases is purely a people's success, since it was due primarily to the people adhering to the protocols established. It is clear to all that controlling the pandemic mainly has all to do with protecting our borders to ensure that those entering the country do not have the disease and therefore will not put our people at risk. No one is asking for the country to be shut down. What the population is saying is that more focus should be on protecting our borders, making it safe so that those coming into the country would not infect us. If that is done effectively, then there would be little need for internal curfew and lockdown, and our people will be free to move around and live their lives normally, exercising due care. In his recent national address, the Prime Minister used the word "I" over 50 times, while at the same time indicating that this thing is not about him. He is quickly losing it. In fact, it is all about him. It is about him staying in power to control Grenadians and enrich himself and his few friends on the backs of the poor and vulnerable Grenadians. The Prime Minister should be ashamed of talking about poor people in this country after having been elected for over 37 years and having been Prime Minister for over 20 years. The high poverty rate, over 32%, can therefore be attributed to him and his economic policies of handouts, deliberately keeping the majority of the population in a dependent state to manipulate political support and control. 16 months into the pandemic, the Prime Minister should not be speaking about a new stimulus package. He should not be speaking about direct handouts to the poor and people who lost their jobs and income. He made promises at the onset of the virus but did not deliver. The NDC has consistently articulated that the pandemic has given us an opportunity not just to repair the economy, but to rebuild it. We have pointed to the specific sectors and areas that needed rebuilding, but the NMP has not listened. Nothing has been done. Over $200 million in aid to help rebuild the economy was received from the international community and bilateral institutions. Additionally, the government was sitting on savings from operating surpluses and the sale of passports. Instead of helping, it kept the people poor and wanting, waiting to purchase their votes for the impending elections. At the same time, it punished the public workers and teachers, claiming that the country's finance was bad. So, the government had the money to spend and deliberately held it back to finance its election campaign. This could never be good governance. It is only a selfish, uncaring, and wicked government that will do such a thing to the Grenadian people. The time has come for the people of Grenada to open their eyes to the bad behavior of this government. This government is happy when things are hard and the people are forced to beg. This government is happy that the world is in a pandemic so that it can present itself as the savior and the one who gives you when things are bad. Our people must realize that the little help this government has been handing out for years cannot allow us to improve our lives, to educate ourselves, to acquire skills, to go to the bank and get a loan, to build a house, raise a family, and live a decent life. With this government, we will forever be poor and underprivileged and dependent. It's time to change that. Our talented and capable young people deserve better. We have recently seen such talent on display at the Olympics, bringing national joy and pride to Grenadians and all Caribbean people. The NDC wishes, on behalf of all Grenadians, to congratulate all our athletes who continue to perform at the highest level of the sports for the commitment, dedication, and discipline displayed. Your example must be emulated and recognized. The NDC is calling on all Grenadians to reject the continued games of the NNP. Grenada deserves better. We can do better. We must embrace and commit to making a change. We must reject the same old strategy to mama guide the Grenadian people for a vote. We are more intelligent than that. The NNP management has not lifted Grenada and its people into prosperity. Our values, standards, discipline, behaviors, and morals have declined under their leadership. We must do better. It's time for a change. I thank you.